What is up, my brothers from another mother? What's going on, guys? I want to thank you again for the support of the creation of this work. In today's video, this is a premium video. This is the August premium video. I've got 32 points that I've made in the last month that I've spotted on social media, in our private men's community, and many, many other places, including coaching calls and even my own life, that I made a note of that I want to share with you guys, which I think are valuable, that'll help you guys become better versions of yourself. Most of them are, of course, tied into the sexual marketplace, but there's some other things that I added in there as well. So without any ado, I'm just going to dive right into it. I've got my talking notes to the right over here, so just please excuse me as I look over this way. First thing. Men must stop doing. This is the title of the video. So this is 31. Is it 31 things? 32 things that men must stop doing. First thing, saying my better half. Anytime I hear a guy that says I got to check with my better half, I literally get my blood starts to boil. Stop saying my better half. And I know that we've been conditioned to it. I think I said it a few times myself when I was married too. I've got to check with my better half. This is my wife, my better half. Oh, your better half. Stop saying it. Catch yourself doing it. Whether it's your girlfriend or your wife, enough. That is blue pill beta conditioning. You're entering her frame. It is not good. Simply not saying it improves your worth. It's as simple as that. Let's go to the next one. I was at a car event with a bunch of guys driving exotic cars, and this one guy with a Lamborghini, this is number 2, says, I gotta run, the boss needs me, referring to his wife. Same sort of thing as number 1. Referring to your wife, who should be entering your frame, who should be operating in your frame, who should be a complement to your life and not the focus of your life, is not your fucking boss. Don't refer to your girlfriend, wife, LTR, whoever as the boss, especially in front of other men. It's just not good. It just sets you up in the wrong mindset. It sets you up in the wrong frame. It puts you in a really, really bad position. So try to avoid doing the whole, I got to check with the boss thing. Please stop doing that. Number 3, playing Captain Save-A-Ho. The amount of men that I talk to, sometimes in live Q&As and coaching calls and comments. I've seen some guys even in the private men's community, even on our Facebook page from time to time, and I call them out on it as gently as possible because I am pretty harsh. I understand that. But stop playing Captain Save-A-Ho. Stop dating single mothers and making them the priority in your life. I mean, date them. Spin them as a plate. Don't marry them and live with them, stuff like that. And if you do, make sure you vetted them properly, of course. But generally speaking, stop playing Captain Save-A-Ho. I see so many guys doing it still, and it just, again, it's one of those things that just irritates and makes my blood boil. These are, again, guys, these are just 32 things that I've noticed in a month. There's probably a list of hundreds that I can make, but this is just in 1 month. The beta lean on social media pics. Number 4. This one's very different and something that I've been attentive to. Take a look at let's do this. Take a look at the men's profile pics on our private men's community, and you'll see some of the guys have pictures on Facebook of their significant other with them. Some of them are leaning, let's say she's over here, they're leaning in and they're pulling, they got their claws around them sort of thing in the picture. Don't do that. When you've taken the red pill, you start to notice these things. It's a tell, if you will. In fact, my recommendation is do not post any social media pictures in profile of you and your LTR, wife, whatever. And the simple reason for that is let her do that. If that's her thing and she wants to have family pictures and stuff like that, let her do that. So one of the 21 convention speakers, and I made a point of this towards the end, his name's Tanner Guzzi. He's a Mormon, very religious, of course, great guy. He talks about style, masculine style. So if you're going to the 21 convention, you'll hear his updated talk on that. But you'll notice a lot of his family on his social, it's all couples together, because, they're very Christian and religious, and that's what they do. There's no beta leans, though. He's the only one out of all of them where it's just him in his profile picture and his banner page. He does not put his wife in that picture for that very specific reason. We haven't talked about it, but I'm definitely going to bring it up when we get together. But the beta lean in social media pics, stop doing that. It should just be you. I mean, if your social media profile is just Richard Cooper, that's who should be in the picture. It should be a great picture of you, and that's it. Don't post pictures of you and your significant other in there, because again, like we all know, you don't own her. It's just your turn. I mean, the chances of you guys being together forever are highly unlikely, and it helps you maintain the frame better if it's just you. If she wants to do that, post cutesy couple pictures together, let her do it. Number 5, saying sorry all the time. I need to try to move these a little bit faster because there's 31. Saying sorry all the time. I've caught myself doing this. Walking somewhere, you might, scuff shoulders. You might bump them as you kind of walk in the door unintentionally. You're like, oh, sorry, sorry. And that might be a very Canadian thing to do, I think. But we also do it a lot with our partners, whether it's, in a relationship or even friends, business partners. You're always apologizing for shit. You should really only apologize when it's absolutely necessary, for things that are absolutely necessary to apologize for. So try to catch yourself going forward saying sorry too much, because it's just a weak position to be in. It really just is when you think about it. Number 6, saying yes to everything. I don't know who it was. It was a stand-up comic, and you guys know that I love to make references to this. It might have been Chris Rock or Chris Tucker, but it's like, you give her a yes stamp. Honey, can we? Yes. Honey, can we? Yes. Yes, 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 yes. And you just stamp yes to everything. I think guys are conditioned, to spend too much time, pleasing their wives or placating, their demands and desires because they think that they might get pussy sort of thing. There's a great blog post Rollo wrote called Chore Play. You can look that one up. But try to catch yourself saying yes to everything. Start getting used to saying no from time to time. As Ryan Stone says in our Red Man groups, he said it one time, he goes, about 25% of the time, you want to basically approach it like she's being a cunt and make sure you say no to her vehemently. And that's kind of like a strategy that he's used in his Married Red Pill, and it seems to work quite well. So I definitely agree with that. Number 7, making women the focus of your life, entering her frame. This kind of ties back into a lot of the other things that I've previously stated. But there's far too many guys that are like, I'm looking for the one. I think I've got the one, that unicorn. They pine for her after she cheats on him. I mean, I fucking did that personally. So, hi, I'm the poster boy. Girlfriend cheated on me and I tried to fix things. I shared that post on the private Facebook page. I'm sure most of you saw it. But, when you make her the focus of your life, you're entering that relationship from an incredibly bad position. Don't do that. Try to avoid that at all costs. Make sure she's operating within your frame. Number 8, putting pussy on a pedestal. You, gentlemen, are the prize, okay? Women need men more than men need women. It's just a fact of life when you think about it. I mean, women can't change a light bulb half the time by themselves, let alone figure out how to fix something that's got a moving part. But feminism tells them that they don't need men. So make sure that you're operating with the mindset of abundance and the fact that you're the man and you are the prize. When you operate from that mental point of origin, as Rollo likes to say, you stop putting pussy on the pedestal and you put yourself up there. Put your cock on the pedestal for a change. Number 9, asking for permission. I've said this before probably in videos. In fact, I know I have. It's far easier in life to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. Too many guys ask for permission, especially from their partners and wives, to do certain things. And it's like, there's certain things that you should be doing without asking for permission. If you want to go on a boys' snowboarding trip in January for 5 days, book it. You don't need to ask for her fucking permission. You're a fucking man. You're the one with the balls. You are the prize. Just do it. It's as simple as that. Let her know when you see her tonight. Hey, honey, booked a snowboarding trip with the boys, January. These are the dates. Just mark your calendar. Make sure that, you know about it now, sort of thing. That's basically how you handle it. Not, honey, I was wondering if you'd be okay if me and Bob and George went snowboarding in January. That's not a good place to approach it from. So make sure that you're not asking for permission all the time. There's certain things where you need to, and it's reasonable to do so. But for the most part, I think most guys can probably stop asking for permission on half the things they're asking for permission for. Number 10, one-itis. I've talked about this over and over and over again, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But having one-itis for a woman is an incredibly bad thing. It doesn't serve men. Men need to stop doing it. I've talked about that many times before. All that stuff's on the channel. Number 11, arguing with women. You cannot win an argument with a woman most of the time. We have an inherent need to make sense. Women don't. Women don't want to make sense. They just want to win a stupid argument. Walking away is quite often, I find, and I don't argue much with this chick that I'm in an LTR with right now, but walking away is the easiest thing to do to maintain the frame. You just remove yourself from that equation. Let her argue with herself. Let her yell at you from another room. Just leave. Fucking grab your gym bag, go to the gym, go for a drive, get on your motorcycle, whatever. Arguing with women is like almost pointless, you know? And I've fallen victim and prey to this myself, where I try to rationalize and try to explain concepts to a woman in a rational way, but women don't get it in a rational way. Women are emotional. So, I mean, if you want to argue with a woman, then argue with her from an emotional perspective. That's probably the only way to do it, but limit that arguing. It's really, a big waste of time. Know your worth, guys. There was a slideshow, I think, that Carl put up, and men tend to undervalue their worth and women tend to overvalue their worth on the sexual marketplace. So know your worth, and beyond that, be okay with eating by yourself. And what I mean by that is be okay going to watch a movie by yourself. Be okay sitting at a restaurant for lunch or for dinner by yourself. I'm not so good at watching movies by myself, but I happily eat lunch or dinner by myself pretty often, if I'm being honest, because I like to eat. I don't really like to cook that much. But know your worth as a man on the sexual marketplace. Assess yourself. Hartiste on Chateau Hartiste, if you look that up, he actually did an assessment tool on trying to assess your wealth. And it's not going to give you the most accurate answer, but it'll give you somewhat of an idea. So just Google that if you really want to kind of figure that one out a little bit. Number 13, no free attention. That's something I got from Mode 1, Alan Roger Curry. He mentioned that in his book, and that wasn't his idea. He got that from somebody else that he worked with. But essentially, you don't give women free attention. Stop fucking liking these random Insta-hoes. Stop, commenting, oh, you're so beautiful, girl, and all that sort of stuff. That's beta behavior. Do not give women free attention unless you guys are banging. It's as simple as that. Limit the attention that they get. Attention is a currency, the coin of the realm when it comes to women. That's what they look for, and when you remove that equation and you're a strong, desirable man, she'll notice that and she'll go seeking your attention. She'll be doing things to get your attention specifically from you if she values you and digs your vibe. So no free attention, number 13. Number 14, raising another man's children. I've talked about single moms before, so I'm not going to beat on this too much. But raising other man's children, the only time that I could ever think of this ever making sense from any perspective, and I think Rollo came up with this on a private call we had prepping for a Red Man group, is let's say you can't have kids, but you want to have kids. That's about the only time that I could think of doing it. And even then, I think a better way to do it would be to adopt, if I'm being honest, because at least that way you'll have a say in raising the kids. When you raise another man's children and it comes from a single mother, you have all the responsibilities of the father without being able to exercise any of the rights of a father, like disciplining the children, for example. So number 14, raising other men's children. Again, this list is things that men must stop doing. These are my observations from the last month. Number 15, putting up with bad female behavior. You're going to get out of life what you tolerate. If you're going to keep putting up with bitchy women that misbehave, that do terrible things, that is what you're going to continue to get. You need to put your foot down and be able to walk away from terrible women. You don't need to go and lecture them and write them a fucking essay or do a video log on why, she's a cunt or whatever, but you don't need to put up with it. And removing yourself from bad female behavior just shows your worth. It shows that you value your worth, and it demonstrates to her and to the world that you're not going to put up with that crap. It's not necessarily going to change her behavior, though. So just fair warning there. But stop putting up with bad female behavior. I see far too many guys. I coach far too many guys that put up with too much bullshit that they shouldn't be putting up with. And, I know that most of you guys already understand these concepts to some degree, and a lot of them will be good reminders, and hopefully that's how you take it. But if you're in a bad relationship and putting up with bad behavior, guys, on the actual website, there's a discounted rate. It's 25% off for one-on-one coaching. Book my time for a one-on-one call, and let's dive down exactly what's going on. I mean, if you're serious about fixing it and modifying it and perhaps even finding an exit. Number 16, stop saying soulmate. Stop saying soulmate. You know, too many people. She's my soulmate. You know, she's my unicorn. She's my life partner. Or I lost my soulmate. There is no one. There is no unicorn. There's good women. There's bad women. There's just women. You know, it's just a reality of life. So stop saying soulmate. Again, be okay with eating dinner on your own. Number 17. This one boils my blood. Happy wife, happy life. Oh man. Actually, Sean Smith did a good video on this. I think he mentioned it in one of his earlier videos, one of the first two. So you should check that out on his channel. He's not uploading right now, but it's there. Stop saying happy wife, happy life. You know, this is just some bullshit Disney-esque story that's been crammed down our throats our entire life. We've heard people say it. I've heard people say it. Fuck that shit. Honestly. Most of you guys already know that, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. But just a reminder, make sure that you catch yourself if you ever think that, or you catch friends if they're doing it. Number 18, white knighting on social media. How many guys have white knighted on social media? Not as many of you here in this private video, so some of you guys still do it though. And it happens a lot on Instagram for the most part. White knighting, trying to protect women. Oh, you know, well, you can't do that, or why can you say that? In fact, you'll see if I say anything, like for example, today's post I did on that Tess Holiday, that 350-pound land whale that's on the front cover of Cosmopolitan. And there was a handful of men that came in there, white knighted, you know, to protect her valor and virtue, the fucking chivalry sort of thing. White knighting on social media is a super bad thing. In fact, call friends out on it if you catch them doing it. That's what I would encourage you to do. Don't bother wasting your energy with the general public, but family and close friends, call them out on it. That's what I'd encourage you to do. Number 19, going from pet to plow horse in a long-term relationship. It starts with being a pet, and this is how it starts. It's the holidays, Thanksgiving coming up, so let's use that example. It's the holidays. She brings you over and she's like, hey, this is Rich. She's not really saying, I'd like to introduce Rich to my family. She's basically saying, hey, look what I caught. Huh? So if you find yourself being caught as a pet, meaning doing little pet things, oh, let's go to Woofstock with all the little fluffy white dogs, you know, wearing sweaters and hats and clothing and shit like that. Or, you know, help me pick out another cat sort of thing. You know, things like that. If she starts turning you into a pet, doing like, another great one is if you get caught up doing these fucking dinner dates, not dinner dates, but like where she ends up hosting dinners or going to host the dinners at her friend's house, and you're sitting there at a table with like fucking 8 or 9 other couples, and there's a dog running around on the floor. I'll never forget this because this actually happened to me, so this is my own personal story. There's a dog running around the floor wearing a fucking diaper. She's got 3.5 kids. She's browbeating the shit out of her husband because she's pregnant. I'm calling it 3.5 kids. She's browbeating the shit out of her husband, calling him an idiot half the time because he's not performing to her requirements. And you're sitting there talking to these fucking morons that are letting their other half, you know, they're what? See, catch me doing it. The other half, fuck that. You know, who are letting their women treat them like pets. They have to show up. Hey, this is Bob. You guys like baseball? Why don't you talk about baseball together? This is straight out of a Chris Rock stand-up. Hey, bitch, you want to help me out? Introduce me to a girl. Seriously. Don't do the pet thing. As soon as you start out as a pet, most of these guys that start out as their girlfriend's pets that they get into LTRs with or they marry, they quite often turn into plow horses. And these women that start you out as pets will generally lower their own attraction level for you over time, turning you into something that they don't even want to fuck. So be careful with that. Notice that. From pet to plow horse, don't do that. I'll probably do a more detailed video on that publicly on the channel in the future, in fact. Number 20, not attending to self-care. Guys, if you're getting out of the shower and you look down and you can't see your dick or your feet, you need to do some shit about that. If you're doing something about that, I applaud you. I know it's fucking hard. I know I've got men in our private community that are working on that right now, and I encourage you to keep fucking doing that and stay the course. Self-care matters. I'm 45 years old. I feel good. I operate good. My mental function is strong. I feel like a strong, useful man. If the shit hit the fan, I feel like I'd be one of the survivors. I know that I would be one of the survivors. Self-care matters, guys. You know, we get lazy as men. I know. I mean, I've done the lazy thing. Like, I've been married. I put on body fat. She brought shitty food home and I ate it. And I didn't go to the gym as much because she didn't really want to let me. You know, I don't know if it was insecurity and she wanted me to pork out a little bit, but it is what it is. But be attentive to self-care. There's no reason why you can't get out of the shower and have six-pack abs at 45 years old. None. Be attentive to it. I'm not saying that you need to go to that level, but look good. Look good for yourself and look good for your own value on the marketplace. Your outward appearance is a reflection of your inward state, of your mental state. It really is. I strongly believe in that. Number 21, being in debt for a long period of time. So you guys know that I run a debt management company. I'm vehemently opposed to paying interest to credit cards and fucking nonsense like that. A debt-free life is a much happier life. You don't have obligations. You don't have to ask for permission from anybody. If you ever need credit, they'll happily give it to you. You're not lining banks and credit card companies with pockets with gold. Understand that debt is bad. And the social norm that we've been sold through media, the function of society, and really a lot of blue-pilled conditioning is that's okay. Just make your minimum monthly payments and everything will be tickety-boo. Tick off the box. Make this minimum monthly payment. We'll see you next month. That's a great deal for the banks. It sucks for you. Don't carry debt. Work on getting out of debt. I've got a channel, Total Debt Freedom. You can go watch some videos on there. There's some useful information if you're carrying credit card debt. Number 22, hating on women or society for what it is. This is something that, now I don't hate women. People sometimes ask me, do you hate women? Do you dislike women? I don't. I think you guys already know that. And I think most of the men in my community, they're not like women hating MGTOWs that want to fuck dolls sort of thing. So don't let female nature color your view of the sexual marketplace. It is what it is. Just learn how to navigate it. When you learn how to navigate it properly, it's quite pleasant and fun. I have a great time. Those of you that have gotten to know me personally know that. So hating or for society for what it is. Look, I could get mad all day long at what a cuck Justin Trudeau is and feminism and the liberal state of Canada and all that blah, blah, blah sort of stuff. But I just don't give a fuck. I really try not to care because allocating energy, or AKA fucks, is something that I can't control, like the nature of society, blue pill conditioning of, the liberal government in Canada, Justin Trudeau and the cuck that he is. I could spend a lot of time on that and I just try not to. I catch myself. So, with all these things that I'm talking about here, and I'm going to copy and paste this into the description just so you know what all 32 are. With all these things here, you're going to have to keep yourself in check. You're going to have to catch yourself doing certain things that are not productive for you. Number 23, not surrounding themselves with winners. This is something that men are pretty bad at. We allow losers in our lives for far too long. I've done it myself. I tell men, I call men out on it when they do it, and they don't always like it. But it is what it is. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you're with 5 fucking losers, you're going to be the 6th. If you're with 5 fat people, you're going to be the 6th. If you're with 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th. If you're with 5 blue pill conditioned people, you're going to be the 6th. Unplug from people that are anchors in your life. You've got sails that will pull you along, and you've got anchors that'll hold you back. You've got to understand that surrounding yourself with losers is only going to bring you down. It is what it is. Okay, number 23. Number 24. They sell their sports car for a fucking minivan, or their motorcycle for a minivan, or some shit that their wife, partner, girlfriend, whatever, convinces them to sell their car for. This drives me absolutely fucking bonkers. And I did this myself too. I remember before I got married, I had a red M3 convertible. Beautiful car, lowered on BBS LM wheels. It was fucking smoking hot. And my wife, and through my own conditioning, convinced me to get a 4-door car. So I sold it and I got an Audi S4, which is still a fun, fast car, but it wasn't as cool as an M3 convertible. So, and then you'll notice, when I first started the channel, I again drove another M3 convertible. That was a newer generation, so I reverted back to it. Kind of going through the end of the marriage and moving into the divorce. But it drives me nuts when I see guys like, oh, I used to have a cool car, but now I drive this minivan with a baby on board sticker. Fuck that shit. Let her drive the minivan. You get to drive the Porsche. You get to drive the fast car. You get to have the Mercedes or whatever the fuck it is. Let her drive the minivan. I see far too many guys give up on their passions, aka cars, and selling nice cars that they enjoy to buy some piece of shit minivan or vanilla car that they don't really like because their wife tells them to. Again, you're your own mental point of origin. You're the fucking prize. Keep your car. Simple as that. Quick story. I got a good friend of mine that had a nice Nissan 370Z, like the newest model. And when he got married, his wife convinced him to sell it because she brought two fluffy white dogs wearing sweaters into the marriage. And they got not a minivan, but a fucking like Lexus SUV, the small one, the LX 200 or whatever it is. But, guy's cucked, he doesn't come out anymore. You don't see him anymore. He sold a sports car for some, basic CUV or whatever they're called. It is what it is. Okay. Number 25, buying purses and other shit. It is something that happened to me. I didn't buy any fucking purses, but my ex at one point wanted me to buy her some, I don't know, Louis Vuitton purse or some shit, and it was $2,000. I'm like, who the fuck needs a $2,000 purse, right? That's just bonkers. And I see guys buying women these dumb accessories. Stop it. Don't buy purses and dumb accessories for women. Let them go buy their own shit, or they can buy, the fucking fake ones that come from China that look like the real thing. Let them buy their own shit. Women have all the rights in the world today and they make money. Let them, dust off their own, wallet and pull out the credit card and buy their own fucking purse. Stop buying women dumb things like purses. Number 26, wifing up their girl because of pressure or it's the right thing to do, fellas. Wife up a girl if you want to have children, 1. 2, you vetted her properly. So you're red pill aware, 1. And the second part of that is you've read the Tactical Guide to Women, potentially even the 4 Dangerous Personality Types by Joe Navarro. That's another great book that's on my 7 reading books list for men. That's when you should wife up girls, not because her family's trying to pressure you or your family's pressuring you or they want grandkids or you think it's the right thing to do or because you see other friends of yours doing it. Fuck all of that noise. That is the worst advice if you can take anything out of this list of 32, I've said it before, and I think Sean says it on the back cover of his book. A good woman can change your life. A bad woman can ruin it. Literally ruin it. Guys commit suicide over bad marriages and divorces. So again, wifing up girls because of pressure or it's the right thing to do. Wife up girls because you want to wife her up, because you want to have kids, because you vetted her properly and you're comfortable with that. That's when you do it, not because of outside pressure or sources. Number 27, breaking up and taking her back over and over again. I've lost count of the coaching calls I've done with men that are thinking about getting back together with their exes, their ex-wife, ex-girlfriends. Stop it. I have done this many times myself, if I'm being honest. I've even done it with the current girl that I'm in a non-cohabitating LTR with, if I'm being honest. But she's been properly vetted. She doesn't bring the drama to the table that I don't fucking need. So I made an exception for her the last time. That is the last fucking time. So taking chicks back that you've been married to, not a good idea. If you get out of the fucking marriage and getting the stats on that are so bad, guys. 9 out of 10 remarries to the same woman fail. It's so bad. Girlfriends, you're better off most of the time just letting her go. Take the garbage to the curb. Don't rummage through it. Let the garbage man come and pick it up. But here I am telling you in a breath before that I have taken a chick back. There's certain scenarios where you can make an exception to that rule. I'm not saying that I'm 100% right, but I'm red pill aware and I kind of fucking know things pretty good in this space. So I'm okay if it doesn't work out. I've assessed the risk, but a lot of guys don't know the risks and what they're getting back into. I've seen guys, I talked to a guy this morning, younger gentleman, Got a borderline chick. She's a 10 out of 10. She's a smoke show. You know, he sends me a picture of her or you know, the Instagram profile. I get why he wants to get back with her, but she's so fucking borderline. She's batshit crazy. You've got to be very, very careful with that. I mean, if you want to have a private conversation about vetting for returning to an LTR or a wife, talk to somebody about it. You can talk to me about it, but you know, the link there to book a one-on-one is always on the community tab of the website. Number 28, yapping on the phone all night or texting too much. When I was engaged before I got married, I had the terrible fucking habit of doing a call every single night with my girlfriend at 10 o'clock. And it was over nothing. It was just because she wanted to make sure that I was home and not out fucking somebody else, probably. In hindsight. Blah, blah, blah. How was your day? Blah, 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 blah. And after a while, like after a few months of that, I was like, okay, I don't really have any updates. I don't have anything to say. I'm going to go. And she'd get fucking mad at me if I didn't talk to her for more than like 10 minutes or so. So limit communication with women. Again, no free attention, okay? And you don't need to fucking talk about your day. How was your day? I don't know. How was your day? Well, what did you do today? Well, what did you do today? Sort of thing. No, you don't need to fucking do that. You know, she's got her own space. She's got her own place. Let her enjoy her space and her place and not invade yours. You don't need to respond to texts immediately. If she's fucking over texting you or over communicating, you probably need to find some way to throttle that back. The best way to deal with it, in my opinion, which is what I do now, is set the bar early on. Do not over communicate. Do not over conversate with women. You know, you set the tone early on in the relationship so that it's not something that's going to drain all of your energy because she wants to make sure you're not fucking somebody at 10 o'clock on a weeknight when she's closing up the law firm, sort of thing. Super, super important. And I know I've done it and I see guys do it a lot from time to time. Manage your contact with your woman. If you're dating, a couple of times a week to arrange, you know, when you're going to see her next and hang out. If you're in an LTR, you're probably going to be daily. I mean, don't message her in the morning and go, "Good morning, beautiful," or anything like that. Let her be the first one to text you. I think Hartiste in his 16 Commandments of Poon, and you can look that up, 16 Commandments of Poon. I think he said something like, for every communication you get, or every 3 communication or every 2 communication you get, you respond once, sort of thing. And I think that's a pretty good ratio, and I've used that, and that served me well. Number 29, relinquishing your fucking castle and having a man cave. I'm going to do a dedicated video on the man cave on my channel at some point in the future, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But basically, guys, your home is your fucking castle. If you're bringing home most of the bread and she's supposed to be cooking up the bacon, or you're bringing home the bacon and she's supposed to cook it up, sort of thing, and she's relinquished you to the fucking garage or some cold dark corner of the basement or the attic or something like that because your man stuff is going to ruin the vibe of her frou-frou fucking furniture in the house, you got to change that. And it's going to be hard to change if you're already in that spot. But understand, as a man, as you navigate forward, don't let women fucking run your home. Your home is your castle. I know most men out there still bring home most of the bacon and pay for shit. So letting a woman run the entire fucking house and saying, like, this room here is just a room of the entire man cave. My house is my man cave. That table, most women wouldn't like. I think my ex-wife saw it one time. She's like, "That's fucking ugly." Good. It's my house. It's my fucking table. Eat a dick. These chairs, right? Big leather couches. You know how much banging has happened on that couch? That's right, fellas. Have whatever the fuck you want in your house. Don't make it look ugly, is all I'm saying. But this is masculine shit, right? There's a reason why it's there in the background. Number 30. The Tinder experiment was an interesting one. We saw that with that Natasha chick where she had like hundreds of guys that showed up. That kind of ties into the beta thirst. I made that note because it only happened just recently and I'm towards the end of my list now. But the whole, the putting women on a pedestal thing where these guys were competing, they were doing push-ups, they were doing sprints. They were like, fuck that. There was a couple of guys I saw in videos that like grabbed the microphone and said, "You guys are all fucking idiots. I'm getting out of here." The security guards pulled them away, sort of thing. That would have been the right thing to do. You know, so number 30 is a bit more of a reminder from some of the earlier ones that I've mentioned in here, but do not fucking put women on a pedestal. If you were one of the guys in New York that was doing the push-ups and doing the sprints for that fucking 5 out of 10, guys, you got to wake up. Number 31. You can express, okay, so this is an interesting one because I saw Tanner mention this earlier in the week. You guys, you can express love and appreciation for your wife without putting yourself down. There's a lot of guys, you know, when it's time for their anniversary, they'll post a picture of their wife up in great lighting. They don't look like that, of course, right now today, but in great lighting, maybe in the wedding dress, maybe, you know, it's a professional shoot. Oh, she's the best, and I'd be nothing without her, and blah, 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 and, you know, she's my rock, and my life partner, and all that sort of shit. And I'd be nothing without her, and all that sort of stuff. And I've seen this myself, and it was interesting that Tanner caught this, because I made a note of it right away to bring it up in this video. It was one of my last points. But if you're going to express love for your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever, I have a problem with doing it publicly on social media. That's not what I see social media as for. Express it to her in private. Fuck the shit out of her that night. Buy her a nice dinner. Maybe have flowers, you know, on the table when you come home, sort of thing. If there's a way that you want to express that sort of appreciation. But going full beta blue pill plugged in and sharing on social media how you'd be nothing without your wife and having a great picture of her up with you in the beta lean sort of thing. And I'm not saying it's you guys doing this, but you know exactly what I'm talking about now that I'm mentioning it. You probably have seen it because summertime is when most people get married. So that's when most anniversaries are. You've seen it on Facebook, I'm sure. But yeah, you can express appreciation without putting yourself down. And I think anytime you put her up on a pedestal and share pictures or anniversary announcements publicly to the world, even if you're not disparaging yourself, does she do the same for you? Does she do the same for you? And if she does, let her do it 2 or 3 times before you reciprocate, is I guess the point that I'm trying to make. Just be careful with that. And the last one, number 32. This is a good one too, before I wind down. Pictures on social, Instagram, whatever, of your girl leading you somewhere. This drives me bonkers when I see pictures of guys sharing on social media their girl, and you've seen this. It's just a picture of her hand and then pulling his hand, and then the picture is kind of like over here. And he's got his forearm with her pulling his hand, and she's looking back at him. You know exactly what I'm talking about, and I hope none of you guys have done it. But taking pictures like that where you put her on a pedestal is completely plugged in. It's completely operating in her frame. You'll know what I'm talking about. Look it up if you don't. Anyway, that is this month's premium piece. Going on to 40 minutes. 31 things men must stop doing. I hope that you enjoyed this. Leave a comment below. And again, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your support, and I hope you got some value out of this. I know a lot of this will be a cold, hard truth and a reminder for many of you because you are red pilling yourself and working on yourself to become a better man. But hey, I know there's a couple things in here that I need to remind myself of. So thanks for letting me do this, and I hope you got some value out of it. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.